Timu ya FCB Nyasa Big Bullet ikapambana chiko cha Ibongetseka Style Challenge cha 2025-2026 edition ikhala kuti yapeza chiko cha nambala 8 muzaka 5 kumbali ya ziko zoka kuchotsa ligi kapena kuchotsa ziko za charity shield. Ichi chikhala chiko cha nambala 8 kati itapambana. Success ya FCB Nyasa Big Bullet kumuyoko kuli club president Konrad Buckle ndi board. Program ya lero kufuna kuunikira kuti role ya Konrad Buckle matekedwe a timu ya Bullets kufika pano nakamaso mpenya going forward. Akuti chani nanga za season ino ya 2025-2026 akuti chani ndi Mtedza Mtedza time sport kuchokera ku TTV mwakandine nkonzi komaso munzi wa program uyu Peter Fote. Bwanji tikale munzi. Mr. Buckle, President FCB Nyasa Big Bullet, how are you?
I'm very well. Good morning and welcome to the home of FCB Nyasa Big Bullet.
Thank you so much. I call you Apiri Angozo muli bwanji. Tiri bwino. Zikuenda?
Zikuenda.
Chabwino.
Maga Zulu zaenda bwino. Lero ni Musanga.
Musanga malizatsa Ibongetseka Style Challenge team in finals. You should be very happy.
No, I think I didn't make the game yesterday, but I watched the game on TV. It was a hard-fought game.
Yes.
It was, historically, that's Mzuzu, our FCB's Achilles heel. So we appreciate those games, and
yes.
They kicked out Wanderers last week. So we're expecting a tough match.
Thank you so much. I hope the program will be bilingual, since you're more comfortable in English, but where necessary, we'll also make sure that we speak some detail.
No, I'll try my best.
Yeah, thank you so much. Konrad, I really want to know what steered you as a human being to go into football management, especially acquiring FCB Nyasa Big Bullets, Bata Bullets by then, or Big Bullets by then?
Well, I think it's not just me, right? Everybody has a passion for football, one way or another. Football is a very emotional game. Somebody actually said football can kill you. Yes. Because of that emotion. But I've been in Malawi since 1984.
Yes.
And the team I chose then, unknowingly, was Bullets. And we followed Bullets, and then our path just managed to cross into a sponsorship deal, originally with Bullets. And from the sponsorship deal, we had to bail out Bullets financially and take over and buy the club. It's a massive challenge. You know, in Malawi, we're pushing on with this commercialization drive with football. But as you know, the team is massive. The responsibilities are massive. I mean, look at the history behind you in this cabinet.
Yes.
What we've taken on. So I said to the players and the coaches about a year ago, I said that the Bullets was here before I was born, and after I have died, Bullets will still be here. So there's nothing bigger than the club. The club is massive. And we're very proud to just have the opportunity to lead and manage this club. In the same breath, football in this country, to be commercial, needs massive support. We know that Malawi is going through its own economic challenges, and even businesses are. But we try as much as we can to manage the club as a commercial entity.
All right, you have won over the time every silverware in the country, be it Super League, at the top 8, FJ Bank Cup, and every trophy available. What efforts were you putting behind the scenes to make sure that Bullets was on the right track over the years?
Well, football has got many levels. It's not just putting in money. money is, yes, to run the team you need money, but the levels in football is, people don't understand. There's some new, and I take my hat to them. For example, FDH have taken over Wanderers, but it's not just money. Right? The levels within football, the emotional levels, the management levels, your coaches, your players' welfare. I mean, it's endless. So all of these things, I tease some of my friends and I say, congratulations, you are in politics. But football is more politics than actual politics.
What do you really mean football is more politics than actual national politics that we talk about?
It will teach you very quickly that it's not one-dimensional.
I really double sure.
I'm 100% sure. And I mean, the challenges are massive. I think Tom Mbikajira had an interview a couple of weeks ago, and he said the big challenge we have currently is sports betting, where players are being paid off, coaches are being paid off. We know that, and these are just dynamics in the game that you have to deal with.
Do you have a specific case?
I'm not going down that road, but it's definitely there. We know it's there. I mean, we know, for example, that there's even South African bookies, Zimbabwean bookies, that come to Malawi to try and influence games. It's a thing we're trying to manage. It's not easy to pinpoint. It's not easy to execute a success, but we're trying to manage it.
All right, you acquired Bullets, taking over at a time it was on the deathbed. Now making some strides, making a very big name in this part of Southern Africa. How contented are you with the level of progress with the team?
Oh no, you can never be content. You sit and watch English Football League, which is one of the biggest leagues in the world, right? And just a couple of years ago, Man United was the golden child.
Yes.
And then Man City, the golden child. And it's, I mean, you need to understand, to stay at the top level of football is it's tremendously difficult. So we're always looking at changing the game. We pride ourselves at the Bullets that we're constantly trying to change and improve the game. I'll give you a good example. And I'm smiling about this because we were called the football mafia at one stage.
Yes.
No names mentioned. But the CEO of Nyasa Manufacturing Company, Fleetwood Haya, then was the CEO of Bullets. It was just Nyasa Big Bullets then, before we got the sponsorship from FCB. And we looked at the gate takings and we looked at what you could actually earn in terms of winning a cup.
Yes.
And we've had the experience of winning every single cup that a season could offer. And we could still not break even commercially. So that is when we decided that, or Fleetwood decided that he wants to go professionally into football. And he then, I think he won Sulam. And then obviously he's become the president of Football Association of Malawi. But if you sit back and you see what his strategic plan was and what he's achieved, it's phenomenal in a very short period of time. Because, like I congratulate FDH, for example, for taking over the Super League and the sponsorship they put in terms of the club earnings and what they can earn. FCB, our own sponsor, has got a phenomenal impact in terms of the money they contribute. As a matter of fact, their contract is now over and we're busy negotiating a new contract for the next 3 years. And I believe it's going to shock the football fraternity in this country with the amount of support that we're going to get from FCB. All these big multinational companies Okay, TNM is not multinational. They lost the Super League, but I'm sure they'll stay in football one way or another. Airtel top 8, Castel. The value that they add to football is what's going to drive and develop football.
All right, you just hinted on the possible landing of a lucrative deal with your sponsors, now FCB Bank. Would you just maybe give us a picture? Is it going to be $1 billion, $2 billion, or over $1 billion? Or what picture can you paint?
All I'm going to say to you, it's going to change the face of football. And FCB has been one of probably the best sponsors we could ask for.
Are you going to be one of the clubs with the biggest sponsorship in Malawi history?
Well, if you take a step back and see when Nyasa Manufacturing Company started sponsoring bullets, we were the biggest then, the biggest sponsor.
Are you going to be the biggest in the short term?
I'm hoping if my negotiation skills are good enough that we can cut a deal that makes sense.
All right, but President, you hinted that you really want to see some more improvements in the club, be it financially or human capital and the like. What really do you want to improve?
Look, what worries me a lot is how to get Malawi football recognized on an international stage. Unfortunately, our national team is not, individually the players are good, but for some reason, internationally, we are not doing well. And some way or another, we have to get Malawi, it needs to be a Ghana, a Senegal, a Nigeria, that we have to get recognition one way or another. And historically, that was only done by international teams. So if your international team does well, then you get an international recognition.
Where do you think you're missing it as FCB Nyasa Big Bullet?
I don't think we're missing. I mean, we've been criticized for selling players. I look at it slightly differently. I say the club is commercial, so you can't rely on your sponsorship and the owners only to pump in money constantly. You need to make sure that you have a strict cost behind your club, and you have to make sure that every year you strive to make it commercially viable. So, for example, the money that we get from the sponsors, the money we get from the gate takings, the money we get from winning the cups, you have to slowly drive yourself to become at least cost positive. Then you're a commercial club.
Just 3 seasons ago, you won every silverware in the country, only to see the league eluding FCB Nyasa Big Bullet the past 2 seasons. What are your plans in reclaiming the winning team in as far as the TNM Super League is concerned, now to be called FCB Bank Premiership? What are you doing on the club to make sure that you win the league again?
Not taking away the win from Wanderers, but I think Bullets threw the cup away this year. And that's why I said there's levels in football. Management, coaching, players, welfare, psychological state of the players. We have a very good plan coming up for this new season. We obviously on the market for an international coach, but we're not taking anything away from the current coach. We want to see how, not just by winning the cup, but how he actually psychologically pulls that team together to play as a team again. Because you need to understand, this is a team sport.
Yes.
It's not about one individual player. It's about when those players get on the field, they need to be one team, play for each other, know each other. So this is the important part. That
Well, much as we know that the success also comes with team management, including maybe coaching expertise. You're hinting about recruiting an international coach, but that might also need very good players with maybe international experience, locally and internationally. What plans are Bullets putting in place to make sure that you recruit
you want me to lose the league
quality players, locally or internationally?
You want me to lose the league by telling you all my secrets?
Not necessarily.
No, I think.
Should we expect international players?
I think let me show you how big Bullets is. When we advertised for a coach, we had 78 international applications from international coaches. That is the size of Bullets within the region. So
that included 2 Brazilian coaches.
You know too much, Mr. Fote. But the point is, yeah, we a big club. You have to have a coach that can deal with the people, that can deal with the players. It's not just about your football knowledge, technical knowledge, skills. It's all about taking those individual young boys, and don't forget, a lot of them are very young, right? And they do well in football, and they get a little bit of an ego, and now they're superstars. They walk in the street, all the girls recognize them. So there's all these dynamics that you have to deal with. So to find the right coach is really, really important.
All right, cutting the long story short, you have lost some key players. The names like Nixon Yasulu, we were talking about Gomezani, Patrick Mangulu, Lanches Ngoma, Baneka, Aaron, and most recently, Babatunda Deputy, went back to Venda in South Africa and Chigumbotso Salima. Should Bullet's family expect some new signings, good quality this season, before the league starts?
We are definitely looking, but I think what I need to tell the fans is you have to be patient with our decisions. You can't win every year. Let me explain to you. We've been criticized for selling players. But I've explained to you it's because of our commercial attitude towards running the club. But you need to understand, every year we sell players.
That's right.
But if you look historically, our titles, league title, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23. Etal top 8, 21, 23, 24, 25. FTH Cup, 22, 23. Castel, 23, we're in the final again. Charity Shield, 2019, 22, 23, 24. These are historic achievements. I mean, we're sitting here.
I never knew you were football enthusiastic the way you are. How come you're keeping all those memories, Mr. Buckle?
At my age, I start losing memories, not keeping. But I mean, you need to understand, this club has achieved phenomenal success. There is no club that has had the success like Bullets.
Bullets is in the final, Airtel Top 8, to be played on the 21st of February 2026 at Bingo National Stadium. Any plans to motivate your players before the final?
I've left the coach and his team to manage this. I'm actually not going to get involved because it's up to the players, management, and staff to show the fans that they care, that they want to be Bullets.
3 years down the line, Bullets are the much buying power, enjoying massive buying power in Malawi. Not anymore. The market is volatile now. The market has been diluted with the coming in of other teams with very huge financial backing. Talking of Clay KC, Eka FC, Mighty Wanderers, Silver Strike backed by the central bank, and most recently, Master Security backed by the Minister of Sports, Africa Ngata. Huge sums of money. How do you plan to make Bullets still more attractive to the players out there?
So first and foremost, if you go back 5 years ago, Bullets used to win the league by 15, 20 points. Massive. There was no competition. So the coming in of all of these people has made this more competitive. And I think now the young, unidentified players that step up can really make names for themselves. So this Bikisano, this competition, with everybody coming in, has changed Malawi football. However, I'm going to give some word of advice to some of the newcomers.
Yes.
The current Super League champions, I think it took them 6 years
to build that team.
To build a team that won the cup this year. To keep that cup, the pressure at the top for this coming season, it's a big challenge because all of these people you just mentioned
They'll be gunning.
They're coming for you, sir.
But they've got quality, top quality.
No, listen, I take nothing away from them. What I'm saying is to stay at the top.
Does the resurgence of Mighty Wanderers scare you at some point or in any way?
No, I love it. I love
it's a healthy competition.
I love the competition.
But you've been beaten 3 times just last season.
This year I have no excuse. We lost to the better team. However, I've just given that subtle warning. To stay at the top.
It's not that easy.
Because you don't only have to look at Nyasa.
All right, Madam President, you are managing, you're running 4 teams, Bullets, men team, reserve, youth and women's football team.
Yes.
Each and every team trains at different venues, some at stadium, some at Kohes, another team at sports complex, this and that. Any plans to maybe develop just a training ground to make sure that you also save some money?
We have a challenge that I would like to openly air.
Yes.
And I am looking for somebody like Tom, that has financial muscle, that is a well-respected person in this country that's achieved phenomenal things in business, and now you can see the change he's contributed to football.
Yes.
But it makes me sad to look at like Kamuzu Stadium, right, which is Wanderers and FCB Nyasa Big Bullet's home ground. It makes me sad to see that government cannot revitalize that stadium. You know, in the south, that's the stadium that everybody goes to. And I would like to have a look with Tom at a commercial opportunity, for example, to take over Kamuzu Stadium from government on a 99-year lease. It becomes both home grounds. We both put money in there, and we revitalize that stadium and make it's the home of it is currently the home of Wanderers and Bullets. But we need something like that is fundamentally ingrained in the southern region football. We can't just leave it dilapidated like that.
Very, very brilliant idea. When you took over Bullets from the scratch, you made mention of building a stadium, clubhouses, buying a bus and the like. You have struggled. It's not really easy to do that with this financial crisis we have in the country. Economically, the economy is bad. Don't you think you made unrealistic promises?
I think at the time it was a realistic promise, because the economy was doing quite well. But we have faced massive challenges on the way. Well, it's not recent, it's over the last 7 years, right?
Yes.
And every plan you put in, every year in the budget, we put something, and then something happens economically that we actually have to...
That pulls you down 2 steps back.
And that's the problem. So we have a dream that we want to have the stadium that people call their own.
Konrad, which team do you support in Europe?
I'm a Newcastle United fan.
Why Newcastle and not Man U, not Liverpool?
Well, I'll tell you what, they're the underdogs.
Not Chelsea, not Arsenal.
They're the underdogs, but they have people that carry that team. You know, they've gone out of Premier League and into First Division, and then next year they're back in the Premier League, and they're carried by the people. And
how often do you watch Newcastle? Maybe per year or?
As often as possible. However, this weekend I shouldn't have watched the game. But
I know the reason.
But
that was a very bad loss.
It was a bad loss. But the reality is, Newcastle or FCB Nyasa Big Bullet remind me of Newcastle. They go through thick and thin, but always they have the people supporting them, and that's the big thing.
Which player do you like most locally, either from Bullets or the opposing teams?
I need to just be a little bit cautious, because I think some of the players, and the problem is that we don't want to show favoritism, but I think there's some fantastic players in Wanderers. I know that we have fantastic players in Bullets, but they haven't been consistent. Silver has got some, we're hunting players from Silver at the moment, to be honest with you. But I'm not going to mention key players, because the guys I like the most is actually not in Bullets. but I'm not going to be like that. This year, I think the players that you have to admire are from Wanderers. They've been consistent, they've been strong, they haven't fallen apart when they played it as a team. And you must never forget this is a team sport, right? You can only score a goal in some passes with the ball. Without the ball, you can't play. So I think I'll leave that there for now.
When should Bullet family expect a new coach?
Well, it has to happen before the new season. So we have a board meeting, I think, end of this week, where big decisions have been made. There's a lot of things we have to deal with. But I think we need to build something again. We have the foundation. We have 4 teams, as you know, and 2 of those teams collectively have enough talent to build a very strong team.
On a lighter note, how much budget do you use for Bullets?
Oh.
Run manage 4 teams. How much per season?
It's a lot of money. So.
A lot of money means 100 million, 200 million,
It's in
700 million, 1 billion.
It's in the billions.
In the billions. Is it profitable managing football in Malawi?
Currently, no, but it is getting better. So, as I explained to you earlier on, big strides by FAM and FH, big strides by the sponsors. You even mentioned more and more people are commercializing, taking over small teams, and putting money behind it. These are the same. It takes time. You have to have hair on your chest to run football. Because
you made mention of the proposal that would see Tom Pinganjira acquiring Kamuzu Stadium for maybe a 99 years lease.
I didn't say Tom, I said us.
Okay.
So I wanted to have a discussion with Tom.
Yeah.
And we have to have a discussion with government to see if they'll entertain the thought of us taking over,
Yes.
putting in the money, and the only way to do it, because historical rivalry between Wanderers and Bullets is there, right?
But have you contacted him personally?
I haven't, but I'm going to use this program as
The platform.
as a platform just for him to give food for thought.
How often do you talk to Tom?
We don't meet very often. We meet a little bit in business, but sometimes, mostly at the airport when he's flying out or I'm flying out.
Yeah.
We have a good relationship.
Okay.
It's a healthy relationship in terms of that we love to hate each other.
Mr.
Right?
Buckle, it's been
Thank you
a
very
pleasure talking to you. But before we finally sign off, anything that you have loved, you'd have loved to talk in the program before we finally call it today?
No, I just want to thank you for constantly. You're a massive name in football in this country, and you need to understand even what you are doing is keeping the flame alive.
Thank you so much.
So thank you so much.
Thank you. Konrad Buckle, President, FCB Nyasa Big Bullet. Our dear viewer, this is also where we end Mtedza Mtedza Time Sport here on TTV. This has been Peter Ford, of course, producer and presenter for the program. Bye-bye.